How are we this fine Thursday evening? A little bit of a different broadcast for you tonight. Instead of playing a game, I figured we would do something a little bit different, and that is a little bit of a run through, a little bit of a Q&A about the Evercade retro handheld games console. And we're going to be switching over to a second camera, which I've got all set up for you. And just to show off what this device is, what it does, and maybe even try and do some handheld gameplay up the camera for you as well, but also try and answer some questions and give you a run through as to what exactly this device is. So if I switch over to the second camera, but first of all, big shout out to Request Baby who's in the chat. Welcome everybody. Of course, this is a live broadcast. As you can see, this is the Evercade. And as you can also see, there is a lot of games all sitting there. And it is a seriously, seriously impressive bit of kit. It is a handheld device and it plays cartridges. It plays little retro cartridges that we're going to get into. I'm going to show you some close-up stuff of that. We're going to talk a little bit about the games. But what is most impressive about it is they are all officially licensed versions of classics like the Commodore 64 Double Dragon era of video games, or titles that came out on the Atari Lynx handheld way back in, when was that, like the 80s, the 90s? I'm trying to scratch my brain here, trying to remember when these games came out. But honestly, really old games that is really difficult to find really good emulations of. Titles like the Dizzy titles. Obviously, I think there's some Pac-Man in there as well. But what is more amazing about it is not just the official emulation of them, but they actually come on proper cartridges as well. So if I just pan in just a little bit tighter on the device, you can see that there is a really groovy looking shape to this device. And it is very curvy, it's great in the hand, it's got a great chunky D-pad. It feels like classic era of games consoles. It almost feels like a Sega Saturn D-pad. You've got big chunky X, Y, and A, B buttons. There's a start and select, there's obviously the menu button, there's a headphone jack and a USB jack, which you can see on the bottom of the device. And of course, there is a up and down volume slider on the base of the device as well. Now, this thing has an internal battery, so that's what the USB port is for. If I just spin it around, just reach over and put it that way. Let me just try and hold it up. Just there. So that port on the left-hand side of the screen, that is a mini HDMI port on the console itself, and that allows you to plug in obviously an HDMI cable up to your television and then play the handheld device, but have them playing through your television screen as well. And the fact that you can play it through your television screen whilst holding onto the console, I think is maybe a little bit, cluttered a process, because you do have to have this big cable running. It's not like a wireless beaming to your Chromecast or something. But at the same time, if you have a long enough cable, or you're just sitting on the floor in front of your big TV in your living room, then you get to actually hold the device and play it on your big screen TV, and that's a really, really cool feature. Now, the other things that this device actually has is this really great 4.3-inch display. It is really bright, really colorful. It has great brightness to it, obviously great colors as well. Really interesting and true, from what I understand, emulation of the games, but also it is a nice big 4.3-inch screen, which is true roughly to the original game emulation. So it's really, really impressive, seriously impressive piece of kit. And honestly, I am thoroughly impressed with this device. I honestly, I can't quite explain enough just how impressed I am with this other device, because it is so comfortable. It's got great speakers, and it actually takes cartridges. Now, speaking of the cartridges, shall we take a look at what these things look like? Let's have a little zoom in and find out. So, if I take this cartridge here and I'll open it up, actually not that one because that one's already in the device. So if I turn it around and pop that out and just lay that there, what you can see, I'll just zoom in, there we go, and just zoom a little bit tighter into there and move that over. So look at this cartridge. This device is a proper custom cartridge for the console. This is the Atari Collection 2. And when you slot it in to the device itself, you can see it has this curve to the top of the cartridge. When that is slotted into the device, it actually completes the shell, which is really interesting. Let me just slot it in so you can see. So you can hopefully see the curved slot on the device. If I slot the cartridge in, it actually completes the entirety of the device. Let's just pop that there. This is such a beautiful and elegant design that honestly I was not expecting, and I really, really appreciate. Who remembers the original Game Boy or the Game Boy Advance cartridge-based handheld games consoles? The Sega Game Gear comes to mind as well. Those things were just rectangles, pretty much. You would slot them in and you were done. You would turn the thing on. But what I love about this device is they have really thought about what the form factor of the device is when you slot in a cartridge. And I really appreciate that attention to detail. It is really, really quite something. And they're just beautiful cartridges as well. Some of them come loaded with 6 games. Some of them come loaded with a few games, but they're all multi-game cartridges that are seriously impressive. So what I'm going to do now is hop over. My microphone may change a bit because I need to leave where I'm sitting at the moment to do this commentary, and I'll switch to my other microphone, which is in the webcam, and we're going to play a little bit of a game to show you what it's like. This is really taking me back quite a bit. Look at this. Hopefully the game audio is coming through. There's a BMX, surfing, halfpipe, or footbag. So it's got to be surfing, right? I can't promise any... Oh no! I can't promise any good gameplay here. Especially when you fluff the first one. Get some speed up. Whoa, we got a 360! Oh no! And I drifted too far. Never mind. Okay, let's try again. Whoa! Get some speed up. 360 degrees! Oh! Ah, and a wipeout, sadly. It's so funny. And if you want to quit at any time, you bring up the menu, you can do a save state, or you can just quit the game. And it takes you back to the dashboard. Looking at that, are you guys seriously impressed? Because I'm really quite impressed. But let's take a look at some of the other cartridges, shall we? In here, we have the Oliver twins. Who remembers the Dizzy games? That is what I think is incredibly cool about this particular collection. It's got all of these classic games on here. If I hold it up to camera as well, you can maybe see... Oh, hold on. If I hold it the correct way, you can actually get a good look at the games which are featured in this. This is from the Oliver twins. Again, these were Amiga and Commodore 64 classics. And again, it comes with this really beautiful little custom cartridge, which is a custom shape. Really, really impressive, everybody. And if that wasn't cool enough, look at this. It even comes with a color, a color booklet, which is really awesome. Let's pull this out and have a look. So we have the Oliver twins. What is impressive is it even gives you a proper little history lesson as well about all of these games. Wow, it is such a beautiful, beautiful collection. Seriously impressive. So that is just one of the game cartridges which you can get. But there is a whole raft of other titles which you can obviously dive into. But again, it comes with these excellent little cartridges and the full color booklet, which is just absolutely incredible. So if you are a retro games collector, if you have been dying for some really old classic, bona fide classic video games, but in retro handheld form, then honestly, check out the Evercade. It is an incredibly cool and brilliant little piece of kit. And what I think is most impressive about it is the fact it is this proprietary cartridge technology that they have created, come to market with, and the emulation is really solid. I mean, hopefully you got a pretty good example of my terrible skills at California Games, but it did show you at least how well and hopefully how good the emulation sounds, because it is really, really impressive. Now, if we jump across to the website, you can actually check out some more information as to where everything can be sourced from, what games are available, and what I want to do is just show you that just now. So if we click on the Evercade, which is out now, this other thing, the VS, that is coming at a later date. I believe there's going to be a reveal tomorrow at the time of recording anyway. But the Evercade Retro console is out now, and the console is priced from $59.99, so it is incredibly competitive. Really, really impressive, just the price point at which this thing is positioned. And then the multi-game cartridge pricing are retailing from $14.99 or €17.99 or $19.99. So some of these games, some of these cartridges have 20 games on them. 20 games for £15, and they're all classics like Grand Prix, like Pac-Man, like Earthworm Jim, like the Dizzy titles, like Double Dragon. This is a really, really incredible value for money. And honestly, I'm impressed. We take a look at just the wealth of games which are now available. You have the Atari Collection 1 and 2, the Atari Lynx Collection 1 and 2, Data East Collection, Interplay Collection 1, Interplay Collection 2, Mega Cat Studios Collection 1, Namco Museum Collection 1 and 2, Pico Interactive Collection, and just to find out exactly what some of the games are. So this is releasing in 2021. That is the Worms Collection, classic 16-bit and 32-bit games. Worms Armageddon, and I don't know what that last one is. What is that? Worms Blast. So that is obviously a joint partnership with Evercade and the Team 17 group of developers and publishers. So there is an absolute ton of games that you can put into your collection here, and it is really impressive. It's just such an impressive little piece of kit. So if you have any questions, do be sure to leave them in the comments. This has been an overview look at the Evercade Retro Handheld Console. I'm Ross from Gamertag Media. Do shoot me any questions on Twitter at It's Me Ross P. Again, put anything that you have any questions wise in the comments as well. I'll do my best to answer them. But that is a look at one of the most impressive retro handheld games consoles that is currently on the market to buy. Check it out. I thoroughly recommend it. So until next time, guys, this was a quick one tonight. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.